talk to you about a couple things today. One, we're going to talk about ways to care for our bodies when we have diabetes. We want to also talk about self-monitoring. What does that mean? How do we take care of ourselves? We want to talk about what happens in our lives when there are setbacks, because there will be setbacks. There'll be setbacks with our diabetes. We want to address those head on. And finally, mindfulness. Mindfulness is a technique that we use in our daily lives to help us become more connected with ourselves. So we're going to also talk about that. Do you remember how diabetes can affect all parts of your body? It can affect your eyes, your hands, your feet. It can affect your kidneys. And that's how you clean your blood. Now, when we think about our eyes and hands and feet, you might say, well, Dr. Paula, I don't know why would diabetes affect those parts of the body. And it's because in our hands and feet, we have little tiny blood vessels. And those blood vessels, those pipes, can get affected by having a high blood sugar. Now, in your life with diabetes, you may have noticed tingling in your hands, tingling in your feet. And if that is the case, that is a condition called peripheral, meaning on the ends of neuropathy. Now, to prevent that, to prevent any problems that we have with hands and feet, we want to make sure that we, number one, monitor and take care of our blood glucose, of course, right? But two, to care, to really look at our hands and feet. So one way to do that is in the morning when you wake up, to think about looking at your feet and your hands. For the foot exam, you actually want to look between your toes and make sure there are no ulcers or indentations or small cuts, because those can easily get infected. Another tip is to put lotion on the hands and the feet. Actually, lotion on the arms and legs is also a good idea. When you wash your feet, which you want to do every day, putting a gentle soap on that area and then moisturizing after you wash your feet. A nice foot bath can feel really comfortable. Just be aware that the water is not too hot and you burn yourself. If for any reason you feel uncomfortable cutting your nails, your toenails and your fingernails, there's a doctor called a podiatrist who's a foot doctor, and they can be really handy at cutting your hands and nails and toenails. Another tip is to always wear really comfortable shoes. Now you might say, oh, but I love my high heels. But the feet come first. So a nice, sensible pair of shoes with a solid sole is the way to go. Also, you may have noticed I mentioned at the beginning of the talk about the eyes. And that is because the little blood vessels in our eyes can also be affected when we have diabetes because of the high blood glucose. And that's why we get a yearly eye exam, where the doctors look at the eyes, they dilate them with a special medicine, and then they look deeply into the little blood vessels to make sure that the diabetes isn't affecting your eyes. So going to your yearly eye exams can be a way of taking care of yourself. So one thing I really wanted to talk about is this idea called mindfulness. And you may have been hearing this word on the TV or seen it in a magazine or the newspaper. And you're like, well, Dr. Paula, what is this thing called mindfulness? And it's a concept, it's an idea about how to live fully in your life right now, here, in this moment, non-judgmentally. So it's stepping back and saying, I want to be in my body. I want to be with my thoughts. I want to notice my feelings and emotions right now, here in this moment, with no judgment. And throughout the whole session on Women in Control, each week we sort of talk about what mindfulness is, and we start to do some practices about mindfulness, like our breathing exercises, our chair yoga. These are all different ways of accessing mindfulness. And one thing mindfulness really can help us do is to learn how to connect deeply with ourselves and understand what are our underlying feelings and emotions. What are the barriers that emerge for us when we are trying to live really healthy? Sometimes an emotion like feeling angry can shift our behavior and drive us to make not a smart health move. For example, if you have been really stressed or really angry, you may have found yourself reaching for comfort food. And we might eat a cookie or eat a donut or drink a soda to comfort ourselves when we are feeling angry or frustrated. So mindfulness helps us tune in to what's happening and notice what are our barriers, what comes up for us that's blocking our ability to achieve our goals, and helps us overcome those barriers because we can notice them and name them for what they are, which is it's just a barrier that we can get over, that we can move through. You know, one of my favorite celebrities is Oprah, and she has a really beautiful quote that I want to read for you. What I know for sure is this: the big secret in life is that there is no big secret. Whatever your goal for this year is, you can get there as long as you're willing to be honest with yourself about the preparation and work involved. There are no back doors, no free rides. There's just you in this moment and your choice.